Today, under the chapter of communication and network concept, we are going to see about the different types of switches. That is, different types of network switch. First one is managed switch. This managed switch have more complex network. So, because of more complex network, they are using the SNMP protocol, that is Simple Network Management Protocol, for configuring and managing the switches. Because of its complex network, they are used in the large network having more complex architecture. For example, it is most used in the commercial enterprise settings, that is having the great capability and capacity of an IT experts. Here, it will provide best security level and also the precious controlling, but it is more costly compared to other switches. Basically, managed switches it is used in the complex network, that is for connecting the more network parts they are using this managed switch, and here the port are adjusted manually by the people and it can be easily monitored and configured. Next one is unmanageable switch. That in unmanageable switch, it is one of the basic switch configuration that we have set. In unmanageable switch, we can allow the additional internet connection to the local devices. This unmanageable switch will use the MAC addresses for transferring the data back and front, and this is most widely used in the home networks and small businesses. For example, if we need more switches, means we just by using the plug and play method, we can add the switch devices to the local networks. But one thing, because of this, it's very really cheap and does not provide that much security, so it is unsuitable for an corporate applications. Next one is PoE switch, that is power over Ethernet. It is capable of now making the installations on IoT devices. That is, in PoE method, they can supply the DC power to the lower power devices across the LAN wires. Okay, and this PoE cables of network switch which no longer require power supply, because can combine the data and power transmission over the same cables, that helps in receiving the data. It is safer because of power output. Next one is LAN switch, that is local area switch. This local area switch is also said to be as the Ethernet switch or data switch. This function is to avoid overlapping of data packets in the network by allocating the bandwidth. Okay, next one is smart switch. This switch is also said to be as a managed switch or intelligent switch. There is some more similarities between the managed switch and the smart switch, but there is some extra control over the data transmission in the smart switches, and they also provide some extra limitations when compared to the managed switches. Next one is the modular switch. In modular switch, we are providing some additional extensions of the modules. Just because of additional modulations, it will provide a great flexibility on the network growth. This expansion of modules for either wireless connection or to the firewall or by the network analysis, etc. Next one is stackable switch. This stackable switch is a fixed switch that may connect via the another switch using the Blackman cables interface to form a single logical switch. To form a single switch, they are connecting the two or more physical switches. That is said to be as a stackable switch. Next one is the most important, fixed configuration switch. From the word we understand that it is having the fixed number of ports. That is, it cannot be extendable and it can be affordable all the time. This is one of the most common switch which is used mostly in the market. This fixed configuration switch will having the predetermined number of ports. That is 8 gigabytes ports, that is 16 ports or 24 bits or 48 ports of bits. Okay, this can be vary depending upon their speed and the connectivity, but the basic speed of the port is 1 gigabits per second. But for the wired electric ports, they can using the RJ45 or the optical fiber port cables for their connectivities. From the heading you understand layer 3 switch, that is we are going to talk about the network layered switch, that is routing table concept we are going to read. So switches are the parts of OSI model of layer 2, that is well known to that. Okay, they are functions at the data network layer, that is also we all known to that. Okay, because they operate at the network layer of OSI model, that is read to be as an layer 3 switch. Okay, so this layer 3 switch is also said to be as a hybrid of layer 2 or layer 3, and this software is more complex and it can be run by dynamic routing protocols. Switch with optical fiber port. We all know that switch is connected basically using the RJ45 connectors for the standard Ethernet cables. In many circumstances, that is more than beyond the limits of 100 meter, we are using the fiber optic portals in addition to that of RJ45 cables. So, switch with the optical fiber port often have RJ45 ports, additional fiber optic ports for connecting the fiber connectivity. In most cases, optical fiber ports are utilized to connect to the another remote switches, either inside the same building or across some, facilitating the local kilometers apart. Next one is the keyboard video mouse switch, that is KVM switch. This KVM switch is used to operate the numerous computer by using a single keyboard, mouse and monitors. These switches are frequently used in the group of services for removing their cords from the desktop. This KVM switch is exactly interface for user who want to handle the many machines from a single console. So, for the keyboard, they are using a keyboard hotkeys, which may typically be configured into these devices. By configuration, they will allowing you to switch between the PCs quickly. So, this KVM extender may support the switch reach the 700 feet for transmitting the DVI, VGA and HDMI video transmission. That is digital video interface transmission, high definition medium transmission and video graphic arrays, etc. Finally, virtual switch. This virtual switch is used inside the virtual machine while using the hosting environments. This virtual switch enables the one virtual machine to communicate with the another, and it also establishes a connection between the virtual and the physical networks and for carrying the virtual traffics to another VM or to the physical networks. Thank you. Kindly subscribe for next update.